Welcome to Tilly's Trans Tuesdays. It's July, and not only is it July, it is the 7th of July, which means it is exactly 6 years to the day that I publicly came out. And that means it's time for my 6 years out and on HRT retrospective. Hi, I'm Tilly Bridges, your host, and I'm joined by my writing partner, my best friend, my wife, our token cis representation, the person who's spective all of my retros, Susan Bridges.
Hello.
You have no comment on that one?
That's really good, actually.
Spectived my retros? Retros? I can't even say it.
I like it. It's good. Because it's nonsense.
Yeah. Well, it is just the two of us this episode because, as I mentioned last year in my 5-year retrospective, it started to feel weird to have a guest on to talk about the specifics of my transition journey. So this time it is just us. And before we get into that,
What?
I want to talk about some things.
Oh, wow. You're just putting me on the spot here.
You knew about this. Okay, so a few weeks ago, we went to QCon in West Hollywood, which is Southern California's only queer comic convention.
Yes.
And we did a signing and a couple of panels, and I'm sorry I didn't get your name, but this absolutely lovely person came up and asked if I was Tilly Bridges because they didn't know I was going to be there, and that this podcast had meant so much to them, and they got a little teary, and I gave them a hug, and it was like the sweetest thing ever.
It was very cute.
But then it occurred to me that we don't always talk about all of the things that we're doing on this show, and so people don't always
Well,
know.
we're not very good at that. I mean, we just forget.
We do. So I wanted to mention some things here.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, in addition to the lovely, lovely person from QCon. So this will be the last episode until August because we have San Diego Comic-Con coming up soon.
That's right.
And every year we take a few weeks off for that because it is so monumental and takes up so much of our energy. But we don't usually take off quite enough time, and it's kind of a stress to get the show back going. So we're going to take a little more time off this year just to ease the pressure on us a little bit during San Diego
But
Comic-Con.
also, we will be at San Diego Comic-Con.
But since this is a little earlier than we would normally go on a brief hiatus, we don't have our full Comic-Con schedules yet. So once we get those, I'll make a little update to the podcast feed just to let you all know where and when we will be at San Diego Comic-Con. So if you will be there, you can come see us.
Yeah.
And so let's also mention we have a lot of new stuff to talk about because on August 4th, which I'm not sure what the first Tuesday is the show will be back is. I don't know where the dates are in August, but on August 4th, we have a YA queer trans graphic novel called Just Another Summer releasing.
Yes.
And it's really funny. It's a rom-com, and it is really actually funny, and it's sweet, and it's charming, and you're going to love it. And it's got a trans guy in it who's the romantic lead, and it's really, really cool. And that's from Maverick, and pre-orders are open now. And then
There are multiple queers in it.
yeah, multiple, more than one.
More than one.
Can you even believe
I
it?
know, right?
And then on August 18th, the collected trade paperback of Star Trek Voyager Homecoming comes out.
Yes.
So that is the entire 5-issue series in one volume from IDW, and you can also pre-order that right now.
Yes.
And then there was just recently an announcement. This one is a ways off, but on March 2nd of next year, our original graphic novel for DC is coming out, and that is Princesses of the DC Universe. It is a teen girl road trip through the stars, space adventure comedy, and you're going to love that too.
Yeah, and even though it's for middle grade, it's really for everyone.
It's for middle grade in the way like Pixar movies are, whereas that kids are going to love it, but the goal and the hope is that adults are going to love it just as much.
Yes.
We worked really hard to make it super fun for everyone.
I think everyone should read it and look at the beautiful, incredible art, and it's hilarious. And yes, please do that.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And I believe pre-orders for that are also open now. So there's some of our stuff that's coming up if you want to check that out.
Yeah, thanks. Do that.
And as I mentioned in the credits of every episode, if you want to know more about the fiction writing that we do and all of our other projects, go to our website at birdguest.com, birdguest.com.
Yeah.
It's all there with all of our credits and links to all of the stuff.
Check it out.
Yeah. All right, let's get on with this actual episode,
Yeah,
shall
we
we?
should do that. That was a lot of talking about other stuff. Sorry.
All right, to follow my entire journey on hormone replacement therapy, as discussed in episode 110, and being an out trans woman, check out the 1 year and 2 year retrospective essays at
Dilly'sTransTuesdays.com.
and then the 3 year, 4 year, and 5 years out and on HRT retrospectives in episodes 29, 75, and 119. I will be using my past retrospectives as a template, which means I will be discussing things in the same order simply so that I remember to mention any updates on specific parts of my transition, because your girl is very tired and overworked and I'll absolutely forget to cover something otherwise. And before I do that, here's where I remind you that I discovered I was trans in 2014, meaning it's been a good 12 years of knowing and accepting my truth, even though I've only been out and actually transitioning for half of that time. As I've mentioned before, the delay in starting was for reasons I do not talk about publicly, but it is nothing nefarious or transphobic. In any case, it is wild to have hit the point where I've been doing this for as long as I waited through so much pain to do this. Next year, I will officially pass that halfway point, which is very exciting. The newest and biggest change I noticed this year is in just how much I've truly embraced my true self and come to love who I am so very much. It snuck up on me, as these things often do, especially now where I've hit the point where my transition is just kind of part of the background noise of my life for the most part. Which is not to say that I don't care about it. Far from it. It is just not actively on my mind anymore because I'm so happy with how it's going and who I am. If you want to learn more about how that realization hit me, check out Confidence 3, Embracing Your True Self, which was just a couple weeks back in episode 162. For the entire past year since my 5-year check-in, our finances were not great. I've been through that before a lot, and it's something so many people are struggling with in our tanking economy. I do not mention this to elicit any kind of sympathy from you. Many people still had it far worse than I did. But it was a struggle for us to stay afloat, which means that spending on things we didn't absolutely need was kept to an absolute minimum. And this is only relevant because I have not been able to get more pairs of heels to practice walking in around our apartment and to actually wear out in the world, because now I do very much love the extra attention they get me, boosting my 6'1.5" to new heights.
There's no room in the closet. What are you going to do? There's no room.
Trifle me not with details.
Okay.
Things have stabilized now, so hopefully I can see some advancement there this year. Despite getting my first bikini last year, I've still not actually worn it anywhere. This is mostly because I've not had anywhere to wear it to. I'm not really into swimming or being in water. I've also not had the time to go anyplace that I might wear it, so yeah. But it's there waiting should the opportunity arrive and I happen to feel brave enough. I still have to shave my face every morning, see Gender Dysphoria in episode 59 for more, and shave my body once a week, see Body Hair in episode 112. Getting that hair permanently removed from my face is something that still remains inaccessible to me, both for cost reasons last year and due to reasons outlined in A Pandemic Transition, which is an essay you can find at
Dilly'sTransTuesdays.com.
There is a new local trans-owned clinic who might be able to meet my have an immunocompromised spouse accommodation needs well enough for me to get it done, but it wouldn't be covered by insurance, and that means it will cost a hell of a lot out of pocket. It also takes hours and hours and hours of time, and let me tell you what I do not have any spares of. So I'm still unsure if I'll ever be able to get it done. It worries me, especially if I get injured and am unable to shave my face myself, or if I end up in the hospital for whatever reason. Would someone else shave it for me, or would I be left to rot in the misery of dysphoria? It is an unpleasant thought, but I'm kind of stuck, so it is what it is. Photos and reflections, as discussed in episodes 91 to 93, and voice, as discussed in episodes 45 to 47, continue to present no problems for me. Yay! Body hacking update. If you've not listened to episode 9 on that very topic, do so you can learn how important exercise and specifically strength training have been to my transition. If you check out the pics in the 5-year retrospective and the text version of this topic at
Dilly'sTransTuesdays.com.
you can compare photos of my muscles between last year and this year. I see improvement. Maybe you will too. There's maybe not as much progress from last year as I would have liked, but that's because after that 5-year check-in, I joined my local roller derby league, and it kind of changed my life with radical trans acceptance, as I talked about in episode 142. I'm practicing derby twice a week for 2 hours at a time, and that eats up a lot of time and energy, so I have less time for my upper body workouts than before. But it means I've also had a lot of lower body gains. So there's a photo of my bemuscled legs in the text version of this retrospective as well. One unexpected and kind of amazing thing that's happened with my growing strength is that roller derby has finally given me a place to use that strength. Before, it was just about being strong because I wanted to be, and that's, of course, the most important reason. But now, having something where those muscles and strength benefit me is actually really amazing. I mentioned in that episode on radical trans acceptance and roller derby how I have very low dexterity and I'm not remotely agile, but there's so many different ways to play derby, especially as a jammer, my favorite position to play, and also the one that I am best at. Some people are incredibly agile little rabbits that are impossible to catch and lock down. Me, my style is more rawr, cap, smash, and I use my strength to push through the wall of blockers as often as I try to go around them. Both are perfectly valid tactics, and it's really nice to be so well suited to the I'm just a sledgehammer on wheels kind. What was that thing you said? The one time during practice when you were blocking and I was going to be jamming?
I was like, oh no, it's Cap.
Oh no, it's Cap.
Oh no.
Yeah. My hair still remains super important to me and happily still brings me so much joy. See the 2 essays about it at
Dilly'sTransTuesdays.com. Okay, we've said it too many times.
That's Your Job. Though I think those will finally make it to the podcast here later this year, along with a new Hair 3 topic. My hair has been a little difficult with the addition of roller derby, though, because anytime I put my helmet on and get sweaty, my hair is absolutely destroyed. It needs a wash and detangle immediately after, and then doing the actual styling always takes about an hour. And I don't always have time to style it the next day, which has meant having some days where my hair is clean and all, but it doesn't look like my usual hair, and that bothers me a lot. Just something I've got to live with if I'm going to keep playing roller derby, which I absolutely intend to do. I'm sure there's a balance there somewhere, I just haven't found it yet. My tattoo, as I talked about in episode 55 on bodily autonomy, continues to be perfect, although for the first time I am contemplating getting another one. I'd like to have a lot more, I think, but I don't know what they might be. If something's going to be on my body forever, it's got to mean something to me, and I'm not interested in seeking those out, if that makes sense. But if and when something occurs to me and it feels like it might be right, then I am all in on it. So right now, it's just an issue of being sure what it is, figuring out where I want it to go, the latter of which is proving much more difficult than the first because this isn't a full arm or even kind of a half sleeve or anything. But once I get that settled, I hope to get it. And this has actually happened because one of the people in my roller derby league is a tattoo artist and posted a new design that was really cool and sparked an idea I have. So that is fun. Time for HRT talk. And again, the original discussion on that was in episode 110 if you missed it. Injections are still going okay, and I may be struggling with the act of giving them to myself a little bit less. But the way E makes me feel and what it does for me continue to be absolute aces, no issues, A+, would recommend. Progesterone continues as well, though I'm not sure if I'm getting any benefits from it anymore, at least in terms of physical changes. I haven't seen much breast growth or more in the hips or butt in the past year, so those may have all stopped. Still helps me sleep better, though, and helps keep my sex drive alive to combat the way E made it crater. But in the text version of this, you can see in a pic of my birthday fit from last year that even if my boobs stop growing here, the ladies E and P have been kind to me. What has become clear, though, is that I need more low-cut tops because now that I can show them off, I kind of love showing them off. Look at them. Go ahead. I like looking at them, too. This is where you say you also.
I like looking at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the aforementioned financial reasons, I haven't been able to actually procure those said low-cut tops since discovering I had enough boob to show, but that's something I can hopefully find more of now, too. In more booby-related news, I had my first mammogram this year. It is uncomfortable and weird to have a lady woman handle your breasts to get them right on the machine and then squish the ever-loving duck out of them. But it is important, especially for trans ladies and non-binary people on estrogen. Our mammograms aren't based on age like they are for cis ladies. We're supposed to start getting them after 5 years of HRT. This is apparently the same guideline used for postmenopausal cis women who are also on estrogen. We worked so hard to get these boobs, friends. Take care of them and keep them safe. My periods have stayed gone. I don't know why. I still do not love my hands or fingers, which remain stubbornly the same as they were pre-transition. It is a small thing, but they bother me a bit. Not enough to cause a dysphoria spike, but I look at them and I'm just like, come on, be more ladylike, would you? Not that I could even tell you necessarily what that would be. Transition is weird sometimes. Is this leftover residual internalized transphobia that I'm dealing with, as talked about back in episode 18? I don't know, but if my hands read more lady hands to me, I'd be happy about it. Mental changes from HRT remain most excellent. Inner peace and self-love are great, it turns out. Give 'em a try. My style stays locked in, only I think I am moving away from some stuff I was kind of presently okay with, mostly in the t-shirt realm. I was never fond of the unisex tees that are clearly just men's t-shirts that they want to say are for everybody because it's cheaper to only offer one style, but I just don't like them much. I've cut the collars on sleeves in some, and that's a fun kind of sporty, butchy style, but now I have a lot of shirts like that and it is too many. So I really do want to swap a lot of them out, even though I love them, for tees with a more feminine cut or just other women's tops entirely. Why must we have heavily gendered clothes? Yes, I talked about that too back in episode 15. Well, we know the sexist reasons why, but still. Hopefully I can replace some of those this year too. If you want to see my new timeline photo charting my entire progress year by year from pre-transition to now, again, check out the text version of this topic at
Dilly'sTransTuesdays.com.
Yeah, I continue to get hotter year by year, so my 10-year timeline photo I hope to be so hot it's like looking at the sun. This is where you're supposed to agree how hot I am.
Oh, yes, you're very hot.
Wow. So enthusiastic.
Sorry.
Really feels like you mean it.
I do mean it. I love you.
I love you. And hey, have my eyes gotten even more green in this past year? In that timeline photo, it sure looks like it. How cool. There are estrogen receptors in the eyes. This is a thing that can happen. Link in the show notes. And that is it. Not a whole lot of changes for me this year, which maybe stands to reason when you're 6 years in and have gotten mostly all you've wanted out of transition. I just continue existing as myself every damned day. And that's the best effing thing in the entire world. Tilly Bridges, end transmission. Tilly's Trans Tuesdays is hosted by Tilly Bridges and Susan Bridges, with audio editing and sound mixing by Jillian Morgan. The written essay version of this week's topic and all past topics is available at Tilly'sTransTuesdays.com. Special thanks to Daisy and Jane for the use of Sorry Not Sorry as our show's theme music. Please stop by and show your support at daisyandjane.bandcamp.com and soundcloud.com/daisyandjane. You can find me at Tilly Bridges on Blue Sky, on Mastodon at Tilly Bridges and Mastodon.social, and on Insta at Heck Yeah Tilly Bridges. And you can find Susan on those at Susan L. Bridges. You can find Jillian at Audio Jillian on Blue Sky. You can join the Tillyverse Discord server by following the link at the very bottom of Tilly'sTransTuesdays.com. We hold regular watch parties for the Matrix films and other trans movies, where I do a live Q&A, and it's blossomed into a wonderfully supportive, compassionate, kind community of friends. We love to have you join us. If you'd like to keep up with all the writing that Susan and I do, you can sign up for our newsletter at birdguestbroadcast.com. Signed copies of our comics and my book, Begin Transmission, The Trans Allegories of the Matrix, are available on my coffee shop at ko-fi.com/tillybridges. If you're listening on YouTube, it's so cliche, but please like and subscribe and take a few seconds to leave a comment. Those feed the algorithm and helps the show be found by so many more people. If you're listening on other platforms, ratings and reviews help just as much, and I'd certainly appreciate them. Thank you for your support. For more information, visit pendantaudio.com. Thanks for listening. I still that up. Jillian, I'm so sorry. I'm going to do that sentence over again.